I'm so stoked to have you on the podcast today, Therese. I've watched you on social media for so long. We've been friends on social for so long. Now we get to talk face to face. So welcome to the podcast.
Oh, Jen, I'm so excited to be here. Yes, I have also been one of your groupies and following your amazing journey, and your avid podcast listener. So I'm so excited to be here, and I really want this to be so great for your listeners, and they get to take away heaps of really great ideas.
And they will. I have very little doubt about that. But maybe for my amazing listener who would like to know more about you, or maybe hasn't even come across you as yet, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
I would love to. So I'm Therese Tarlinton. If you can spell my name, you can find me. I'm the only Therese Tarlinton in the world, which is very lucky. And so I will say, like, I'm a serial startup. So I have started up multiple businesses over my career, and then I've also worked with some, really huge brands that reel me in for some amazing projects. So I am a speaker. I am an author, which I'm super proud of. My book is called Swap: Marketing Without Money. And I am a business and incubator advisor.
Wow. And can we just say that Swap won Book of the Year just a little while ago? Can you tell us a little bit about that? We need to start there.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is so if you know me at all, you'll know that I am a super excitable, oversharer, passionate, crazy person. And so there was a book award, and they went through, the categories. So best autobiography, best small business book, best marketing book, best personal development book, all this kind of thing. So I had obviously applied or tried to get the marketing book.
Yeah.
And so when they announced marketing book, they announced somebody else. So I was like, oh, good, not my time, totally fine, all good. I think I'll just go back to my glass of wine at the beautiful, Crown Hotel in Melbourne, living the life, having a good time. And then they said, okay, now everyone be upstanding, and we're going to announce the 2022 Book of the Year. Wasn't even really paying attention. And so, but my friend was actually filming. So we have terribly good or terribly bad evidence of this. So when they said the winner is Therese Tarlinton, I threw up my arms and then ran to the stage, Price is Right style, like literally kind of screaming, high-fiving people along the way, bounded onto the stage, did a few kind of little, side steps, like dancing of excitement, and was just so over the top because I just couldn't believe it. There was so many authors there who had written 5, 6, 7, 8 books. This was my first book. It is a very simple book in terms of it's a really simple guide for how to do partnerships. So I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. And actually the MC of the event talked to me afterwards, and he said, do you know what, if there was an award for best reaction to ever winning an award, you probably would have got it.
God, double winner. But I can see how you would be so surprised. And I know that we've got other things to talk about on the podcast today, but normally Book of the Year is chosen out of the winners, isn't it? So I can see how you'd be like, I'm done. Bring me more wine type of thing, because it's very unusual that the winner of Book of the Year or anything of the year isn't chosen from the other winners. So that's awesome.
Yes. So that's what I thought too. I thought there was 20 categories. So I thought those 20 people who won the category would then go into a pool, and out of that pool, someone would be Book of the Year.
Not for Book of the Year. Not so. So your book of the year called SWAT was about partnerships. So that's what I wanted to chat to you about, because I really feel that partnerships and collaborations are a marketing strategy that perhaps small business owners don't tap into, and yet can be some of the most seriously powerful and profitable things to do in your business. So can you just start us off with what is a partnership? Why should we even be thinking about them?
Absolutely. So partnerships are, I think some people think that a partnership is like influencer marketing. It's when you get someone with a great audience who promotes a product for you. But partnership marketing, I've been in marketing for more than 20 years, since the 90s, and partnership marketing was around back then. And it is simplified. If I can put it really simply, it's when two brands get together and they do a deal where they create something for their mutual customer that they will love, and they can both grow in the process. So partnerships are about extending your reach into your ideal audience, a big group, thousands of people who you would love to have as your customers. It's about increasing your credibility in your industry, to your audience, increasing your brand credibility. And it's also about your profitability, because your ability to be different, stand out, have something unique makes you not a commodity. It makes you stand out from the next company. So they're the really, that's the core benefits of actually doing partnerships with other brands.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really stuck out in that the conversation that you just had said was mutual customers. So
Yes.
these people have the same customer as you, ideal customer as you, but aren't necessarily your competitors.
100%. So I guess a couple of examples, just so you can kind of in context. So my girlfriend is an artist called Lara Scalari, amazing abstract painter. She did a collaboration with a Italian restaurant, in the city, really cool restaurant. And so what they did was, Lara knew that inner city couples loved her artwork for their homes. So lots of interior designers love her work, all this kind of thing. So they did a collab, and what they actually did is, so neither of them exchanged $1. And this is why this is a whole about marketing without money. So Lara used her database, the restaurant used their database, they used it on social, they used it in EDMs, they had point of sale in their restaurant and their gallery, and they invited all of their community to one night only, where people got to meet the artist, they got to meet Lara, they got to mingle with Lara, they got to see her artworks on the wall, her new collection. The chef was so inspired by Lara's artwork that he created a signature dish that you could only get on that one night.
Wow.
So they bought in their mutual customers for them to have an experience that they couldn't get on any other night. And so the result of that was that Lara sold a lot of her beautiful art to people that hadn't been exposed to her paintings before. And the restaurant got a whole new group of people who promised that they were going to be regulars because they absolutely loved his food.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. Like that's
Yeah.
it seems so simple when you give examples like that, but it's just so incredible, because those people that came to the restaurant won't just come once. They'll possibly tell their friends and family. And also, the painting, people will go to people's houses and businesses and see the painting. So this has longevity, even though perhaps it was just one night. I know in my retail business that I used to have, we had a VIP night around Christmas time, and that was the second biggest day of the year for us, and it was only 3 hours. The only day that outdid it was Christmas Eve, basically, when people walk through the door, throw money and say, I need something for Christmas, please hurry, can you wrap it? But other than that, because we shared databases, we shared customers. There was customers came out, there was only 10 shops to go to. They all had time to go. We put on food, we put on drink, and then hopefully those customers became my customers, even though they may not have been in I shopped before. So partnerships and collaborations is something I'm very passionate about. But what sort of different types are there? Are there different types of partnerships?
Yeah,
And sorry, before we
absolutely.
get to that, is collaboration and partnership used interchangeably or are they slightly different?
Good question. Okay, so absolutely, a partnership and a collaboration really are an interchangeable word. The However, I guess there's different levels. So a collaboration can be really informal and can actually be just something really great, like actually swapping content. So, hey, I'm going to write an article, and if you can put it on your website and I'll put it in my DEDM, and we'll have a co-branded article. So it can be something really, really simple. Partnerships can also be where you create a co-branded product. And so the term is interchangeable, but if you were doing something that required a lot more investment in terms of maybe there was tooling, maybe there was a production run, all these kinds of things, then that kind of is, I guess, a little bit more of a partnership where you would maybe, or you would get a little bit of legal advice on just how to structure that. But most collaborations are super simple, very generous, very fun, and just a way to work with another small business owner where you get to put your two heads together and come up with something just really irresistible, really, like more exciting, more chat worthy, more shareable, like just something that actually makes you different and stand out. But as I said, it's about having fun. Being in business is sometimes super lonely. And so just working with another business and doing something fun is just more enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. But how do you find that right person? For anyone listening going, Therese, this sounds great. I can see from the examples how I could make it work in my business. But how do you find the right person? And do they have to be on the same playing field as you, like the same level? Or can you level up and maybe get a bigger brand to do a partnership with you?
Yeah, great idea. So I guess just going back to literally your question around what types, and that will kind of describe almost who you can work with, who your ideal partners would be. So the first type of partnership is where you use your product or your service. So that could be, you may have seen that Go To Skincare, so Zoe Foster Blake and Four Pillars Gin did a collaboration called the new Go To Gin. So, and they had a limited run of this beautiful peach-coloured, peach-flavoured, on brand for Zoe, gin, and they used it to go out. So that's where they use their product. So just the example with Lara and the restaurant, again, that was about a product. She used her product in that collaboration. And so there, in terms of how do you find your ideal partner, there's probably people already that you are partnering with very informally, where your customers are actually asking you. So as a as a builder, if you're a builder, your customer might ask you if you know a plumber. As a stylist or someone that was actually in the fashion industry, they might ask you which brand of clothes that you think that they should buy for their body type and everything else. So some of them are super, super simple and you're already doing them. And then this is just a way to actually formalize it a little bit more. The second type is where you use your brand or your knowledge to create like a digital partnership. So this would be where you could create an article, a podcast, you could create a checklist. So you actually use the knowledge that you have and to actually do a digital swap. And the third type is where you actually create an in-person event. And in-person events, I mean, obviously post-COVID, people really, really are enjoying getting together a lot more. They really missed it. But also, especially if you are an online brand, it creates an identity and a face. I remember I worked for a huge e-commerce company. People they knew it on screen, but they didn't really know the people. They didn't really know what it stood for. So we exhibited at, the home show. And we, we signed up people with kind of a voucher, and those people went on to spend, another $3 million on the website. So because all of a sudden we could take them through how to work the website, what it actually did, how to find the bargains, like all of these, we got to educate and train them in that context. So just to summarize again, so one is where you use your product or your service. Next one is where you use your knowledge or your brand to do kind of a digital swap. And the third one is where you and other brands create an amazing in-person experience.
Yeah. Okay. So which one would you think is the best one for a small business owner to use if they've never done a partnership before?
Yeah.
I guess taking into account your very first example, which is they're probably already doing it and they don't realize until they've listened to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is, for me, I think the first, like the dip the toe in the water type of collaboration is definitely a digital collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Super easy, low touch, not a lot of time, that is invested into it.
So it could be like an Instagram takeover or a Facebook takeover or something like that. Yeah. Mm.
Absolutely. I think that we, and this could be literally where, there's a checklist, or whether there's a process, or there's 5 top tips, or there's, and it could be literally like, just say you were an interior designer and you collabed with a local retailer, or collabed with a furniture brand, or a pillow brand, or a candle brand, or something like that. And you could actually invite, that interior designer to come into your store, for example, and choose the 5 products that she could not resist in your store. The five products that are trending right now, the 5 products you need to style with this summer. And so again, it gives her the opportunity, him, the interior designer, the opportunity to come in. You could grab that on video. You could actually have her wandering around the store, choosing things, picking up things, looking at things. You create that video content, that interaction, that emotion, and that feeling. You could record that person on camera saying, this is, this painting has got all the colors that are on trend, and you could actually use this painting and incorporate, these cushions and these other fabrics. And so this is really about, the simplest way is think about who is already walking into your business. Who are those people that your customers admire, respect, look up to, trust, that you can actually just have a bigger conversation.
A more formal almost conversation, like call it a partnership, call it a collaboration type of thing.
Yeah, I think that, as small business owners, we're always looking about how we can get our message out there,
Mm-hmm.
and get our message, but not only that, get our message to a group of people that we want to talk to. So, and, as I said, like this is about mutual, like your mutual customers. So these are not your competitors, they're your collaborators. So I saw, for example, and these were all single person brands, so solo entrepreneurs. One was an accountability coach. One was actually helped you get the idea for a book out of your head and into a manuscript. I think you know these people, Jen.
I might.
And another one was a photographer, another one was a videographer, another one was a printer. And so what it was a competition where you could enter to actually get your book published. Now, all of those people were targeting authors or potential authors, people who wanted to write a book, people who are in the process of wanting to become an author. So all of those individual businesses got to collaborate. They created the competition, and they had a database of people that all needed their products. Now, that videographer didn't compete with the accountability coach. And now that was a competition. That could have also been a 2-day off-site weekend event in, you know, in the Hunter Valley or on the Gold Coast. That could have also been a whole podcast series. That could have been a whole content series, a YouTube series where all of them actually contributed what their steps would be with their customers to actually get them their, you know, their ideal goal. So really simply, it's about who has your same customer. So who has your same customer, but they don't compete. And the thing is, it's just about giving your customer an even better experience.
Yeah.
And I have one story that I think, just if I can share this one, Jen. So there was a florist, and every day she would get asked by brides, what can I do with my bouquet after the wedding? Like, oh, you know, I would love to do something, don't know what I can do, what are the options? And so she actually created a company, a small business called Blooming Keepsakes, which is a kind of a custom-made, like round, like orb shape, and she puts elements of your bouquet in that orb. Now, that bouquet could have also been when you had your first baby. It could be when you made your first $1 million. It could be in your 50th birthday. It could have been, you know, it could have been the flowers from your grandmother's garden with her brooch. You know, it could have been lots of things. But the thing is, she created that next step, like that, what can I do with my bouquet after the wedding? So she created a solution. She now partners with hundreds and hundreds of florists around the country. The florist has a better chance of actually getting that customer by actually saying, what we're going to do is we're going to create a beautiful bouquet for your special day. And then we're going to take that bouquet, we're going to send it to our partner, Blooming Keepsakes, and they're going to like create it so you've got it forever. Now, as a customer, that's just helped me. That's just made my experience even better than I expected. That's just solved my problem.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? And so you think about that in the context of, imagine you're a pool builder and you actually had somebody that came in and, you know, did the, I don't have a pool, but, you know, does the chlorine or cleans it, or, you know, like, imagine if you're a landscaper and you actually did a collab with somebody who would come in and actually trim all the hedges and mow the lawns and keep your product, your invention, your service looking better for longer. Then you've got, your product is just even better than it could have been, because it looks better for longer. The customer got a better end result. The customer's being looked after, and the customer's being reminded of the great product that you provided in the first place.
Yeah. Wow. Great examples. Thank you. I love a good example because it just brings teaching back into practicality 100%. Is there a particular recipe for these sorts of things? Is there something like a step-by-step guide or a particular recipe that you talk about as to what makes a great partnership? Because I know we've spoken a lot about great partnerships, but I think we could all probably think of something that isn't a great partnership or hasn't quite worked the way we wanted it to. Maybe we didn't put the boundaries around it like we thought. We assumed that X would do this and Y would do that, and that hasn't happened. But is there a recipe that, you know, you can share with us or we could follow?
Yes, absolutely. So, and I think you've hit the nail right on the head in terms of, you know, it needs to be like, it's a deal. Now, that deal could just be on an email or a piece of, you know, A4 paper. Like a lot of them, like, as I said, if you were just doing a digital collab and you're just exchanging an article or both contributing to an article to share with your audiences, you know, that doesn't really need a lawyer, right? Like, then that's just a, you know, that's a nice, easy one. But if you were like 4 pillars and you were committing to $1 million worth of stock with another person's brand on it, then yes, you know, that's an investment, right? And so you would need a lawyer. But the point is, to the word that you said, that word was about, like, I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to assume. So don't assume. Literally, you put down, like, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Can I just say, though, like, I really, partnerships, great partnerships, and I'll use the word great partnerships, are about 2 companies coming together and using every tool in their toolbox to give their mutual customer a irresistible experience. It is not a bartering system. It is not,
Okay.
I'll give you one Instagram post and you give me one EDM.
Yeah.
It is not that. If you do that, that's just kind of advertising. Like that's not the spirit of generosity intent. That is not about your mutual customer. That is just about you. So when you say, I will give you an Instagram post for an EDM, that is not a collaboration at all. That is a barter. That is a swap. That is about you. Partnerships, great partnerships, are about the customer center of the decision making. If you can add another element, if you can get that customer an even better situation, even more, then that's a great partnership. So the customer is the focus. And in terms of the recipe, it is simple. It is a simple recipe. Of course, there are some steps in it. And the first step is actually looking at your own business and working out the assets that you have that you could leverage. And I'm using the word asset because as small business owners, we tend to think we don't have anything to offer. And that is simply not true. You have so much. Even if you're just starting, you already have so much. And to prove this, I actually made a list of 103 assets that you've probably got, that you might have forgotten about, that you could use to do a partnership. Okay, 103. Now that was just to prove a point. How many do you need? You need one. But I wrote 103 because
is that in your book?
It's actually on my website. You can go and get it.
We'll get to that then.
But the point of it was to actually show that there are so many ways you can collaborate, and there are so many assets that you have that you can leverage with another brand. Okay, so that's the first thing. So first step is understanding what you've got that you could leverage. Second step, why are you doing it? What's your objective? Like, it is about the customer, but why are you entering into something called partnership as opposed to advertising, or opposed to, doing event marketing or influencer marketing? Like, why are you actually doing it? Like, why? And so that's about your objective. So when you actually look at your objective, that's really about what am I trying to do? Am I actually trying to get a database? Am I trying to get people into a demo? Am I trying to sell tickets to an event? Am I trying to, get seasonal sales? It's all about summer for me. I get 80% of my sales in summer. It's all about sales for summer. Like, what? Why? Why are you doing it? What's the objective? The third one is actually, and it sounds super simple, but it's about finding the right partner and pitching the right idea.
I think that sounds like the hardest bit.
Yes, of course. And so for this is where I say, who are you already talking to? Who do you naturally already start talking about? Like, if your customer rings you, so for example, I have a friend who has a beautiful bespoke furniture company. It's called TH Brown. They make beautiful, exquisite furniture. It has leather. They are like bar stools. She has leather on her bar stools. She gets asked by her customers all the time, how do I keep the leather looking good? How do I clean the leather? So she's now talking to furniture cleaners and leather product companies who actually, because they have something that her customers need. And if she can give her customers the answer and provide a solution to keeping her stools looking better for longer, then it makes her product look better and she gets a happy customer. Okay. So pitch, who is your right partner? And your partners are the people you already gravitate towards. They are the people that you already recommend. They are the people that have your mutual customer. They are your ideal partners. And just couch to 5K, start small. Literally, just do a digital collab. And that's why I say, pitch the right idea. So just go to them and say, hey, I've got an idea. I'm the pool builder, there's a pool cleaner. Say, hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we actually do something together so you can keep all the pools that I build looking better for longer? And so we'll contact the customer, we'll give them a great experience together, and then we can just keep rolling it out. And again, that could be a deal that was actually just, you know, on one piece of paper, and it could be a no-cost deal. It could also be an affiliate deal. So, you know, you actually say, if I bring you on and you mow their lawn or clean their pool for 2 years, then you're going to give me a certain percentage of sale or something like that. Or it could just be, okay, every time you're at someone's house and they say the word pool builder, I'm looking to get a pool, you say my name. And every time that, you know, like I'm Mr. Pool Builder, I'm building a pool, I'm going to say your name. Yeah. So it can be informal. So third step, find the right partner, pitch the right idea. Mm-hmm. Fourth step, do the deal and over deliver on your partner's expectations. And I say that from a point of generosity. Like if you said, I'm going to create 5 photos, but you actually took 55 photos, to get the 5 great photos, give them more than 5 photos. Like it's not a big deal, right? Like just say you were like, I'm going to do 3 posts, but it's doing really well. Do 4 or 5 posts. Like the whole point of it is you want the customer to have a great experience. Like just be generous. And even I've done lots of deals in my time where somebody has actually given me more pictures, so I will just do more posts with those pictures. You know, it actually gets you more exposure. So be generous. Just do more. And again, like if you share, then they'll reshare. Yeah. You know, so just be generous. So over deliver on their expectations. The 5th one is to actually extend your deal. So this is when, you know, shouldn't be a secret. Tell your retailers, tell your stockists that you're doing a collab with the furniture cleaner to keep your furniture looking amazing. And now there's a 5-step guide on your website that they can download. You know, you're at an expo and you're going to have a stockist list with their name on it and you're going to point people to it. Share it with media. Share it with your industry. Industry associations they don't have much news. They'd actually love to hear your news. Yeah. They'd love to hear what you're doing. They love people being a little bit outside the box and creative and doing more and giving people great ideas. So 5th step, share your great collaboration with your industry, your media, and with stockers. And the last step is usually, and I will say this is in my 20 years, this happens time and time again. People collaborate. They go, that was so fun. See you later. No. This is like the best bit. So you will know the stats, the metrics, the comments, the buzz, like put all of that in a I call it like a success report. Mm-hmm. Like wrap it all up with a nice bow and kind of go, this is what we did, right? Like this is the amazing stuff that we did together. We got this many customers. They've done this many Google reviews. They on their comments, we've actually had an idea for a new product, you know, because they told us, they asked us questions. Yeah. So wrap it all up in a success report and actually ask the other company, what was the success for you? What did you see? What did you feel? What were your comments? And so together you create the success report. That success report is your gold. Okay, because that gets the next partnership because you can demonstrate success. Yeah. So I say, do a success report, wrap it all up, and that allows you to turn on your taxi light and attract the next partnership.
Yeah, right. That's so that's enormous gold just there. And it reminds me of, winning awards and, having them all in a Google Doc, all these things. So, you can use them in the next application that you put in for an award or something. And this is very similar, keep those assets. And I love the way you talk about comments and things like that, because sometimes we read a comment and we move on. That might be one of the best comments, but screenshot it, put it somewhere, put it in your, in your notes in your phone or in a particular place in your photos, if that's, if you operate mainly from a phone, so you don't forget the gold that's out there. That's really, really good. I love that. I suppose one thing that kind of sprung to mind, and I didn't want to interrupt you because you're on a roll with your with your recipe in step 3, and you were talking about, you know, making it very customer centric. One of the things I guess is, you know, if it's not an exchange for EDM for 3 social posts, then I guess you've got to make sure that the person is the right fit for you, but it kind of aligns with your values as well. Because if they are, you know, tit for tat, so to speak, then maybe it's not quite the right thing, because then you went on to talk about being overly generous. So you're making sure that that partnership has an alignment in the business values as well.
Yes. And you're spot on, as in, and that's why I say, like, it's very much a value exchange in terms of you're both going into this with a really generous mentality or agreement that this is about the customer. You will absolutely find people out there that want that barter, that will just go, no, I just, you know, how many? And if you find that where they're just like, no, I just want to know exactly how many and how much, you know, how much is it worth? And, you know, and they're in the weeds, in the detail about that. You know, then I would say, like, you know, maybe it's not the right, it's probably not the right one, but if you're already kind of in deep, then just do a digital exchange, just try an article, just and kind of not exit out, but kind of go, actually, what I was thinking is let's try one thing first.
So it's not a red flag, it's more of a beige sort of flag for you.
Totally. It's one of those things, and sometimes people are just, you know, skeptical or a little bit scared of doing it, or maybe they've had a bad experience.
Or maybe
and
they
they've
haven't listened to this podcast and worked out, you know, what the goodness is.
Absolutely. And I think as well, if you show up, like if you go to someone and you're like, I need your help, can you help me? You know, can you put my brand in your email? I want to grow. And that's all about them.
Yes.
You know, it's nothing about you, and it's definitely not about the customer. So it is about, like, and it is, so when you're pitching, and I use that word, but so what I do, I just have like creative conversations. I just have great chats with people. And the whole point is, it's like, as I said, this is not about you. This is about your customer. So it's like, what do you do that lights you up? What do you do that works? Like, I do this to work. What do you do? And you actually just work out what's your yin to their yang. Where are they really strong? But that they might be, you know, hey, I've got this amazing social following, but, you know, I can't do a podcast, or, you know, I don't have a podcast, or I'm not great at events, or, you know, I find it really difficult to, you know, to talk on camera, or, you know, like something that, so what's their strength and what's their struggle? And then, and you have your strength and your struggle. And so you find your yin and your yang, you find where you can actually be a great, amazing contributor and supporter and friend to another business by working together.
Yeah. Very good. This has been such a great chat. Like I said at the very start, I'm very much an advocate for collaborations and partnerships, but I've just loved how you've gave us a step-by-step guide and really showed us what the value is for the customer, but also, you know, the fact that there's got to be something in it for both parties as well. There's got to be profit or growth or something in it, even though it is all about the customer. So if someone wants to get in contact, if you've said something to Therese and people are like, oh my goodness, I really need to talk to this lady, or buy her book, whereabouts, where's the best place to get in contact?
Absolutely. So my name is my website, so just theresetarlinton.com. And from that website, everything else goes from there. The book is available on Amazon, on Kindle, and through Booktopia. And if you're outside Australia, it's at Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Target in the USA. And I am also doing, you know, a lot of marketing boot camps. a lot of webinars, and I do a lot of mentoring as well. So please reach out and see, how I can help you. And my favorite playground is LinkedIn. So always just connect with me on LinkedIn and just, send me a message, ask me a question. I'm super happy to answer.
Beautiful. I will have all those links in the show notes. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you wanted to cover just before we chuff off to the rest of our days?
No, I would say, look, don't be scared. Like literally just start.
Love that.
Most people are very generous and will be super flattered that you chose their company above all the other companies to actually reach out and want to partner with them and do something amazing. So, don't be scared. And like, imagine if you actually got an email from somebody today that said, do you know what? I've been recommending your business for the last 3 years. I love what you do, and I've got an idea of how we could work together. Like you'd be interested, right? Like I mean, I'd be proud. Like I'd be like, wow, that's so cool. So
absolutely. I look forward to that email, anyone who's listening.
Exactly. So that's the thing. It's like, and so, I'm reaching out to people at the moment and I'm saying, hey, I love doing, boot camps and workshops and being in front of people and helping people with their marketing. And you'll find and then there's other people in other areas of marketing, like specialists like SEO, or PR, and they're going, oh, hey, would you like to collab and do, a whole day where we could do something together? And I'm like, absolutely, I would love to do that. So
Yeah.
it is just more fun together. Like imagine you were doing a roadshow and whatever. Jen, I'd much rather do a roadshow with you, than hanging out in my hotel, by myself. But also about like imagine what two amazing minds put together. Imagine the sparks, imagine the ideas, imagine what we could do. And so just give that context to you and your company in terms of imagine what you could do with another business to create something that's just super special for your customer that will make you, memorable and give you a competitive advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. I can't thank you enough. You've just given so much gold. This has been a brilliant conversation. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you, Jen.